What's up, everybody, and happy Monday to you. For today's video, we are going to be talking about and reviewing the brand new Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes palette. And let me tell you guys, I picked this thing up earlier today. It's Sunday now. It'll be Monday for you guys when you see this. But I literally have had this thing all day. I have been playing in it all day. And do you see this? Like, there is some serious things we need to talk about and you need to know before you drop some serious coin on this bad boy. So if you're ready, cue the 80s porn music.
Baby, I'm gonna butter your bread.
Welcome back, my friends. If you're new here, my name is Alexandra, and if you like the latest reviews and up-to-date information on makeup and subscription boxes, definitely hit that subscribe button. Now, let's break into the basics of the brand new Naughty Nudes palette by Huda Beauty. So this thing retails for $67. Now, let's just say you paid that price for a second, you know, you felt a little crazy that day, you didn't use a discount code or anything. So you're getting 18 shades with 5 different textures. So that's 8 matte shades, 5 metallics, 3 marbles, 1 marble matte, and 1 pearl gloss hybrid that we're gonna talk about that one. All right, so those 18 shades come to a 16.8 grams in total weight of product. So basically that breaks down to 0.93 grams per pan and $3.98 per gram of product. Yes, you heard that right. All right, guys, it's time for some swatches. Now, keep in mind, eyeshadow swatches that you see in pictures and videos can look different in real life versus what you see on the camera because cameras pick up on colors differently than our eyes. And for this reason, I will be giving you guys a description of each shade's appearance in true natural lighting. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's start off with the mattes with Filthy, which is a soft baby pink. Hypnotic is a light brown shade with a neutral undertone. Rough is a medium brown with a reddish, almost purple undertone. Juicy is more of a medium brown with a pink undertone. Arouse is a medium brown with a orangish red undertone. Spicy is a dark brown plummy shade. Untamed is more of a dark plummy shade with a red undertone. On to metallics, starting with Shameless, which is a Barbie pink with blue and purple reflex in it. Please Me is a golden bronze metallic with a pink shift. Irresistible is a straight up perfect rose gold. Tantric is a perfect yellow gold. Desire is a reddish pink metallic with a pinch of an orange undertone, and it's absolutely stunning, you guys. All right, let's move on to the marble shades, starting with the only marbled matte Hard, which is a tan brown marbled with a chocolate brown. Moving on to the marbled creams, the first one is Passion, which is a light pink marbled with a plum purple shade with a blue shift. Next, we have Flower Power, which is a white gold marbled with a deep yellow gold with a little pink reflex in it. Provocative ends up being a pink shimmer with purple undertone and gold reflex. Lastly, we have the Pearl Gloss Hybrid Slippery, and I'm going to show you guys my finger so you can see that I have plenty of product on there. And then you can also see when you swatch it, it's pretty much non-existent. So you've heard the basics, you've seen the swatches. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of this palette because there are some definite pros and some cons to owning this thing, and I want you to know both sides of the story so that way you know exactly what to expect if you purchase this. And because I like to start off on a positive note, we're going to start on the pro side. And the first thing I would definitely have to mention is the fact that this thing is extremely aesthetically pleasing. I mean, there is no denying that. Now, I know we're not supposed to buy a palette because it is this gorgeous, but I mean, this thing is definitely the most gorgeous looking palette I think I own in my entire collection to this date. So Huda Beauty definitely knew what she was doing there. Now let's talk about the actual eyeshadows in the palette. The mattes are extremely pigmented, very blendable, velvety to the touch. I have never felt a matte shadow so soft. This is the first 18 pan Huda Beauty eyeshadow palette that I've ever owned, and I can now definitely agree with people who say that there's a difference between her formula and her 18 pans and then her 9 pan shadows. I mean, total difference with this for sure. So the mattes are impeccable. Now the metallics, they are soft, and I mean super, super buttery. I don't even know what would be softer than butter, because they are definitely softer than butter for sure, and almost so soft to a fault, which we're going to talk about. But the marbled creams, I have never felt an eyeshadow like this. I've never played with an eyeshadow like this. This was definitely an exciting palette to play around with just in general. Just the look and the feel and the touch and how pigmented the shades are. The marbled matte is definitely one of a kind. I would have loved to seen more of those types of shades in here. There's only one marbled matte in here, and yes, I loved it. Beautiful, creamy, and it's a weird because it's a creamy matte. Like who ever heard of such a thing? Now let's talk about the actual colors of the shades, because the colors themselves do a very good job of complementing one another when you pair them together. For instance, if you wanted a more neutral look, you could pair together Hypnotic with Rough, put a little bit of Naughty at the lash line or even out in the corner, and pair that with any of the metallics or marbled creams, and you have that perfect brown, neutral tone, foxy eye, your eye, but even a little more glam look. You know what I'm saying? It's just absolutely stunning. Or you can take Hypnotic with Juicy, which has a little bit more of a pink undertone, and then pair that with either Untamed or Spicy and turn it into a mauve toned, sexy, seductive, stunning eye look. And again, pair it with any of the metallics, any of the marbled creams. I mean, the fact is, with all the different little pairings that you have in this shadow, and because you have all of the different textures and shade types, and then just the colors and how well they work together, the number of looks that you can create with this thing could be possibly an infinite number. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning how well these colors really complement and work together to just create such gorgeous, beautiful eye looks. So now that you guys have heard a bunch of the wonderful and amazing qualities and aspects of this palette, let's talk about the not so wonderful and amazing aspects of it, or the cons as I like to call it. And I want to start off with talking about the super softness, because as I said earlier, some of these shades are almost too soft to a fault. And more specifically, I mean the metallic shades. And I'm going to show you guys some close-ups here. Now, before you actually start digging into the palette, everything looks solid, it looks great. But once you start dipping your finger or brush into the palette, you will kind of notice that it like cracks, and it's more specifically, again, the metallic shades. And also, it doesn't really want to pick up on the brush, especially shades like Irresistible, Tantric. I mean, it's just not happening, especially without some kind of Mayron mixing medium or MAC Fix Plus. Like, you gotta have something. And then even if you use it as a finger shade and tap it on, it's not gonna have that super metallic punch unless, again, you have a really sticky base or some Mayron mixing medium, or again, some MAC Fix Plus. Now, talking about those cracks a little further, that actually leads me into my second con of this palette, and that is it is going to lose its aesthetic appeal quite quickly, because the more you start digging your fingers and your brushes into those metallic shades, again, it's going to start those cracking. And then the 3 marble creams and even the 1 marble matte, as you start putting your finger in it and swatching it or digging your brush into it, it starts to swirl the top of the colors and kind of mix them together. And again, it loses that aesthetic appeal. So keep that in mind. Which I know a lot of you guys are not going to buy this palette because it looks cool and it looks pretty. But if that was a selling point for you, just keep in mind, it's not going to stay that way. And that also includes the Pearl Gloss Hybrid. As you start digging into that, it is going to definitely lose its little cool aesthetic effect and look. Now, hitting back on those marble cream shades for a second, that actually brings me to my third con with this palette, and that is the fact that because they're marbled, each time you swatch it, each time you dip your brush into it, you get almost like a different kind of effect and different kind of look. So your eyes are not going to be twinning on your eye look depending on how you go about doing it. Like, you're really going to have to be very specific where you were putting your brush. And I'll give you a really good example here. Earlier when I was doing this eye look, I dipped in the Flower Power, and on one eye I dipped a little bit more into the lighter gold side, and on the other eye I apparently had dipped into a little bit of the more darker gold side, and so one eye popped a little bit more than the other one, and I had to really kind of go back in and be very specific where I was placing my brush into the pan to get that inner corner pop on both eyes and have them match the same. So that's another thing to really keep in mind with this. Now, I didn't experience this so much with the marble matte, but I did notice it a little bit. But it's a matte. As you start blending it out, it's kind of gonna mix it together, and that shade is just, it's crazy weird, but in such a crazy cool way. So I really didn't have a lot of problems with that. But again, it is gonna lose its aesthetic appeal, and you do get a little bit of that with that. But as I said, as you start blending it out, it's gonna stop. All right, now let's talk about Slippery, or the Pearl Gloss Hybrid. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Now, I kind of thought it was funny when Beauty News made the joke about how this looked like Corona in a Petri dish in a eyeshadow pan. I kind of thought that was funny. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really get that when I saw it. I didn't really feel like it looks like a disease or a germ. It actually looked kind of cool to me, but keep in mind, I am a little bit of a science geek. However, I'm not impressed by this, you guys. I'm really just not impressed. The more I dig into it, the more I play, like, it looks cool, awesome, amazing on my finger right there, but I mean, it's just like nothing. Like, the swatches that you see on Instagram is not what you actually get. The swatches that you saw on her video is not what you actually get. I'm not really 100% for sure what she was trying to do when she did this. I get it, it's a gloss. I get that it has that like glossiness to it, which it definitely has. And it does have the little bit of a shimmer from the little pearls and things inside. But I just don't really feel like it packs a punch, and I don't really know, like, it's too pink and too red to like put on my cheeks as a blush personally, and it's definitely too pink and too red to use like as a highlight, or I know she had mentioned like maybe as like a lip gloss or lip topper or something like that. But I mean, it's just like the actual pigments and the, like, when you swirl your finger around, it's just so uneven. And I mean, you really gotta push in there and really rub and like almost make those little balls kind of like explode on your finger to really get something going. And then once you do get it going, it's not really anything amazing. Like, I don't know. I think it's cool looking, and I think it was cool that she tried to be innovative and to try something new, but I'm not really impressed with Slippery. It's not something that I think I'm really going to be using a lot of. I have tried to play with it a little bit, but yeah, I just wasn't real happy with the results overall. Again, I don't really see myself using this as a blush or a highlight of any kind. Maybe a lip thing, but I don't know, you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this Slippery shade down below, because I'm very curious what you guys thought about this when you saw it, what you're thinking now with what I'm showing you. Very, very curious to hear your thoughts. I'm also really curious to know if that shade Slippery and that gloss that's in there, like, is that going to dry out? Like, I'm very curious to see what it's going to look like in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year, because most eyeshadow palettes at minimum last about 5+ years. But I've heard that the Huda Beauty, the 18 pans, especially with the things like the marble cream shades, they do get a little drier as time goes on, and they're not nearly as soft and buttery and marbly and smooth. So I'm very curious to see what is going to happen with that Slippery shade as time progresses. Now, I have to be completely honest with you guys. When I first saw the video about this palette and what it stood for and why she created it, I absolutely loved the story behind it, what it stands for. I was just all about it. Then when she actually showed the palette, showed the swatches, started applying it, I was absolutely living for it. Like, she got me in a story, hook, line, and sinker. Then I picked it up today. I got it home, I started playing in it, started swatching it for myself, and started applying it myself. And I really started thinking, is this worth $67? I mean, I know I didn't pay $67 for this, and thank God I didn't, or I think I would probably be a lot harder on this. I did use my 20% off a Sephora Rouge discount, and I also had like another $10 points discount. But like, let's just stop for a second. Let's take away the aesthetic appeal of this palette. Let's subtract the fact that it looks really cool and all the swirly shades. Let's go ahead and mix them together and make them whatever shade they're supposed to be. X out the little Petri dish shade there and just look at the palette then. Is it worth over $70 with tax? Is the formula worth that much? I mean, like, maybe it's the ingredients that she's using in this. Maybe that's what makes it so soft and amazing. But is the soft and amazing worth it? Because you do have to use a little bit more work. You have to use some kind of mixing medium or Fix Plus to get those really hardcore pops of metallic. So is that worth $67? I will say this much. I don't regret my purchase whatsoever. What I paid for this palette, I feel like, is definitely more than fair. I'm going to get a lot of use out of this. I had a ton of fun playing with it. And I even plan on wearing this Thursday for Steve and I's date night. And even when I go and get my license picture retaken. So it is a really good palette. And I can't wait to come up with more looks on it. And I'm really excited for it. But I also don't know if it's worth $70. So if you can get this with a discount, yes, all day, it's worth it with a discounted price. I know Huda Beauty has 15% off discount sometimes. I know Black Friday's coming up. So if you can snag this with a discount, I definitely feel like it's worth it because it is a lot of fun and the shades are absolutely gorgeous. Can you create similar looks with other palettes? Absolutely. But I will say that the formula is a lot better in this versus a lot of the other palettes that I do have. So this formula is really good, but I don't know if it's $70 good, you guys. All right, so that is all I have for you all today. I really hope this video helps you guys out. And then tomorrow we are going to have our mystery unboxing that we were actually supposed to do on Halloween, but we had the BoxyCharm thing and then this popped up. And it's been a crazy mess. So anyways, that will definitely be going up tomorrow, Tuesday. So if you are not getting notified for my videos, definitely keep an eye out there. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter because I do make sure that I post notifications up on there for you guys. For those of you all worried about not getting notifications, I'm trying to figure something else out. But until then, definitely make sure you're following me on Instagram and Twitter. And then I will see you guys tomorrow because, again, I got a little special surprise for you. And you guys know I don't put it out there for everybody. All right, until next time, see ya.